Hey guys, what is happening? Dan here, aka Night Fox. Today, I had the opportunity to sit down with Drew Nestor and discuss his qualifying run on American Ninja Warrior Season 14. But before we get started, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on any other interviews with great Iowa ninjas.
Hey Drew, how's it going?
Doing good, Dan. How are you?
Doing well. I appreciate your time today and sitting down and telling us about a little bit about yourself and your run. So
no
let's
problem.
get started. So how did you get started with ninja? How old were you, and what kind of drew you to it?
So, I actually started doing parkour because my dad would play video games that had elements of parkour, and I would just watch him play. And I'm like, yo, I want to do this stuff. So when I was around 11 years old, I really started to get into parkour, started watching it on YouTube, watching tutorials and videos, and me and my brother and a couple friends, we really got into it. But when I was about 14, so I did parkour for about 3 to 4 years. When I was about 14, I fell in love with American Ninja Warrior just watching it on TV, and I decided to, one day, me and my mom, we were screwing cliffhangers into our deck, and yeah, that's kind of how it all got started. We started building obstacles in the backyard, and the rest is history.
That's awesome. Now you said you were building your own obstacles in your backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Is that kind of how you got a relationship with the Backyard Ninja Kids?
So I would actually watch their YouTube videos and not even know where they were from. I just liked their videos because they showed me how to do obstacles and build different things. I'm like, these guys are cool. One day I looked at their Instagram and it said Cedar Falls, Iowa. And I'm like, I live like an hour from these guys. So I actually DM'd them, and Scott got back to me, and I actually went up to their garage and trained with them one day. And then Scott actually did tell me, he's like, yo, I got a secret. We might be opening up a gym. And here we are.
And here we are. Now we're in that gym. So a lot of your training has probably taken place here, I would say?
Yeah, most of my training, I would say, has taken place here at Ninja U.
That's awesome. There's a lot of great ninjas, you'll be seeing me interview them, that have got their start here. So it's really cool that you got your start here too. Yes, you started in your backyard, but you were able to come and train with a lot of other good ninjas.
Yep. This is where my ninja career really took off.
So you're in the military.
Yep.
I remember when you first got back from your deployment, this was the first place you came. And that was so cool, and I was glad I got to be here and welcome you back. But it just shows how much passion you have for ninja. That this was your home. This is where you wanted to come and spend time.
Yep. Even when I was overseas, I brought ninja holds with me, and it's kind of funny because when you're in the military and you deploy, you have to write down a list of everything you're bringing. And there are certain things you're not allowed to bring. And I'm writing down cannonballs, nunchucks, and they're like, "What is this guy doing?" I'm like, "Oh wait, that just looks bad. It's just Ninja Warrior stuff." And I would strap them into the monkey bars on the base, and I'd be out there swinging around. Everyone thought I was crazy.
Yeah, well, I think every ninja is a little bit crazy.
Yep,
so we're
100%.
doing stuff that people don't normally do. So, okay, so you applied last year, and you got the call. Tell me a little bit about that.
So I applied for season 13 of American Ninja Warrior while I was overseas, hoping that I would make it back in time. I knew there was a slim chance I'd get called anyway, so I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to shoot my shot, see if I can get my foot in the door, see what happens. And my deployment, I got home in April 2020, and the taping was 2 weeks before. So I missed it by 2 weeks, and I contacted the guys. I was like, yo, man, I can't believe I have to say this, but I can't make it.
Yeah.
And that was really hard for me because I'm like, if that was my one opportunity to compete on the show and it's my fault that I couldn't be there, that's tough.
Definitely. I can imagine here you said you started when you were 14, you've been training so long, so hard, here's your chance, and then you had to miss it, and like you said it was your fault, but it wasn't really your fault, stuff just didn't line up.
But it was on my part, so.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, nothing the show did wrong, obviously.
Right.
But then you applied again for 2022.
I did.
And you got the call. Mm-hmm. What was that like after having to turn them down the year before, and now you're getting the call again?
So this was a great experience. So the day I got called, Scott actually sent me a message of a picture of him, Chris, and Levi, and he said, 3 ninjas with the call here, keep your phone close. I was at work in South Dakota, and I couldn't focus. I was teaching a class. I was not focused. I probably, missed a couple spots that day. Kids got hurt, and it was my fault.
Not really. I'm sure kids didn't get hurt.
Not really hurt, but they definitely fell on the ground, and it was probably my fault because I wasn't focused. I was tripping out, and then right after the class, I'm upstairs filling up my water, and I see a call on my phone. I'm like, this has to be it. And I answer the phone. I'm like, yo, this is Drew Nestor. They're like, yo, this is so-and-so from American Ninja Warrior. I bolt down the stairs, freaking out. Everyone at the gym is like, what is wrong with this kid? Because I'm just freaking out. And then eventually someone went and told him, oh, he's getting called for Ninja Warrior.
Yeah.
It was cool. Everyone clapped for me at one point. It was awesome because I knew I'd make it this time.
Yeah, I'm sure it felt great, after having to not go the year before, now you're getting your chance, and I've seen you here working so hard, and I know you wanted this second chance to get on and show what you can do.
Absolutely.
So, qualifying was in San Antonio?
San Antonio.
Okay, so you go down to San Antonio, you probably do all your hero stuff. What's your ninja name? We didn't cover that yet.
So my ninja name is actually the Ninja Medic.
Okay, what's that based on?
Basically, most people do it like the whatever and then ninja. But I'm a ninja before I was a medic. So I wanted to put the ninja first.
I get that. That's very clever.
So Ninja Medic. And I didn't want to be too cliche and say the medic ninja.
Yeah. Nope. You didn't want to be just like everybody else.
Right.
And you're not like everybody else. Okay, so you're in San Antonio, you do your hero stuff, you got your Ninja Medic stuff. And so the day of your run comes. You've seen a lot of the other guys go. What's kind of going through your head as you're coming up to those steps?
Don't mess up. It's like the first run, in my opinion, that's your most important run. That's where you have to make your impression, because that's where you either make it or break it. If you make your impression, you're back next year.
Yep.
So even if you mess up, you're back next year. If you don't make your impression, see ya.
Yep.
So
A lot of pressure then.
I knew I had to make a name for myself. So that was what was going through my mind. I really wanted the buzzer. The guy before me actually cleared.
Oh, really?
So I wanted to follow in his footsteps, even though that kid was younger than me. But
That's funny. Okay, so you're up there. You don't hear your boops because that's fake, as we saw with
That is
Tim.
fake.
Tim was upset that you don't get the boops, but
don't.
you get your 3, 2, 1 countdown, go,
Yep.
and you're off. Let's take me through your run.
So that first obstacle, I remember it vividly. I'm not even, my first run, I was not focused at all. I was going in, trying to be super dialed in, focused. I was geeking out the whole time. I was like, I'm on Ninja Warrior. So I'm on this first obstacle. I'm like, I'm doing the steps right now. Jump to the rope. And the rope was actually right in the center of my body. And I definitely didn't want to let go there because that would hurt.
Yeah.
So I did take an extra swing the first time. I wasn't trying to be too hesitant, but I definitely didn't want to split the rope on live television.
Yeah, and nobody wants to go out on the first obstacle either. So it's like, let's not mess this up, take our time.
Yep, so I took an extra swing on the first one, and I got up to the second obstacle, deep breath, and I knew this was a ninja killer.
It looked very difficult. Like just that, like you've seen so many people do the double dipper, and it was that with an added extra technical bit to it.
Right, so I got up there, I looked at it, I walked the thing off the track. I didn't switch grip because that bar wouldn't spin.
Yeah.
So the tires on the track would spin, not the bar. So I go up there, I make the lache on the first go, because I know if you don't go, you're done.
Yeah.
I grab it, I wanted to pull it back just so I didn't fly off the front.
Yep.
And ride it down the track and just throw it. And I landed it in the track, took one backswing and threw the dismount.
Excellent. So then you're on to balance after that.
Yep.
Did you have any, it's the split decision, did you know for sure you were going?
I knew for sure I was going longs. I didn't even look. We had burned rubber as a second obstacle. I didn't even look at it. Never.
Didn't play that game.
Nope, I didn't want to be like, ah. I thought that was cheesy.
Yeah.
So I went right for the logs. I pointed out at my family and my friends. They're freaking out. I'm freaking out. I'm like, yo, this is sick. And I'm like, okay, now I got to do the ninja course. Okay. So I go for the rolling logs. My first step was perfect.
Yep.
My second step was perfect. Third step, I completely missed the log.
Just straight up missed.
Straight up missed. My heel might have grazed it a little bit because it was rolling, but I didn't get any weight bearing on the third log, and I bear hugged the fourth log.
Now, I've seen some ninjas in the past do that. I can't remember the guy's name. Do you know his name?
Leaf Sunberg.
Okay, so Leaf Sunberg, I think it was last year, he got hung up and spent a long time on that obstacle and finally made it, but I think he went out on the next one. But was that going through your head oh my gosh?
So it's funny because Leaf and I actually went out to lunch the day before.
Seriously?
And we were literally talking about yo dude, you went under the logs and saved it. That was crazy. And we kind of got to know each other the day before qualifying, and I ended up in the same spot as him, and he struggled there for like a minute trying to do different things.
There for a long time.
But it was actually in my head. I'm like, okay, I know what to do. I was on that log. I was totally calm.
Yeah.
It was crazy because other people got stuck there. Done.
Yeah.
No one got close to saving it. And I'm like, okay, Leaf, this is what he did last year. He grabbed it with his toes, flipped around, did a push-up, and just scrambled to the mat.
Yep. And it worked.
I did that in probably under 10 seconds.
Yeah. It looked like there's like that scary part where you're falling, and then you're like, nope, I got this. Like, okay, cool, let's go.
And after I got that, I was so jacked up. Any type of focus was gone.
Out the window.
And hype has taken over.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
that was crazy.
That is crazy. It's like, I can't imagine like how fast your heart's beating at that point, because like that could have been the end of it right there, and then but you were able to save it. So okay, so you go to the next one. What do they call that with the boards?
They called it kickboards.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so you get up there and you kick that first board. What's going through your head as you're like getting ready to make that with Shay?
So I got on that the kickboards, and I wanted to take an extra swing to build up the momentum so I can kick it hard, because I know I'm smaller. I don't weigh that much.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna need a big kick. I kick it as hard as I can. It's not there. Take one more swing, kick it again, and I'm like, I don't even think it was all the way up. But I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go because I don't want to waste too much time.
Yeah, you don't want to be hanging there too long.
Right. So I swing. I grab the disc perfectly right in the middle. Take one back swing, swing to the next bar, work my way back to the next one. And I had a little trouble with the second kickboard because you had to. So it was like this, and you had to spin it into place with your feet. So I actually kicked it. I actually tried to readjust it before I kicked it up, which I don't think I should have done. I actually over-adjusted it on my first one, so I had to readjust it. And then when I kicked it, all my work had gone to nothing because it spun back, and I'm like, dang it.
You're wasting swings, now you're mad at yourself.
So I kick it probably 2 times again, and then I had to readjust this thing. This thing took forever. And I swing, I grab it, and I wasn't completely in the middle, so I did a little adjustment, and this thing is spinning back and forth on me, and I'm trying to make this dismount. And a lot of good ninjas failed that dismount.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to make sure I was super lined up. I probably took about 3 extra swings, which you don't want to do. But once it was there, backswing, go. So I was off there. That obstacle probably took a minute.
All right, so you were hanging there for quite a while. Do you feel like that burnt you out at all going into that next obstacle, or like were you still pretty fresh?
I wouldn't say I was fresh, but I wasn't out of gas. I definitely had enough in the tank to clear.
Gotcha. So the next one is like a salmon ladder that's like rolling.
Yep, they called it the salmon roll.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like,
look, they know how to name stuff.
They do.
Okay, so you get up on the salmon roll. You're probably feeling pretty confident at this point. You just have that and then the warp wall.
I have no idea what I was feeling.
Yeah.
Just still overwhelmed with hype.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I'm on Ninja Warrior.
That's crazy.
Just hype.
Okay.
Nothing else.
So what led to the mistake on that? What do you think?
My first hop, I've watched my run, and I slightly adjusted the bar. They actually give you a lot of space on the show for error. And I slightly adjusted it. It was too much, or not too much yet. And then I go for the big jump, and I made that, and I tried to link one of the small ones, and I totally went like this and just flew off the track.
Gotcha.
So I definitely had enough left in the tank. I was probably about halfway through that obstacle, and
with just the warped wall left after that.
Yeah, just the warped wall.
Okay, so you fall, everybody's like, hey, Drew.
Mm-hmm.
And did you know at that point, like how early in the day were you?
I was 53rd.
Okay, so you had about like 30 runners left?
About, yeah.
Okay, so did you, like how close were you to the bubble at that point?
I'm not sure. It ended up shaking out 15 clears, 15 people got to salmon roll.
Gotcha.
So if you got there, you were good, but I didn't know that until after it was all said and done.
So like, did it take you down to like the last 2 people? Like, cause what place did you get?
28.
So you barely made it.
Yeah.
Did it take down to the last 2 people where you're like, okay, now I'm good? Like,
I didn't know where I was sitting until after I asked, but I knew I was close.
Yeah.
Because I was watching people before. I'm like, okay, I gotta beat this guy. I gotta beat this guy. This guy beat me. I'm trying to map it all out, but I didn't have any of the results of the people before me. So I was stressed out because I knew I was close.
Yeah.
So I go into the room where they give you your results, and I was like, I'm freaking out. And this guy, he's talking to the next guy for probably, it felt like an hour, but it was probably like 2 minutes. And I'm like, dude, did I make it? He's like, what's your name? I'm like, Drew Nestor. He's like, looks down, 28. I'm like, yes! I actually went to go give Chris DeGangi a knuckles, but I was so excited. I was like this, and he pulled away because he didn't want me to punch him.
No, you got to protect those hands.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm sorry, Chris DeGangi, if you're watching this, but I didn't mean to punch you.
That's funny. Okay, so you made it. The next round is in
LA.
Okay. And that's probably going to be filmed at night.
Yes, it's
Are you
filmed at
like
night.
going to flip your sleep schedule? Are you going to just keep everything normal?
The flipping my sleep schedule doesn't really agree with my work schedule.
Yeah, nope, I understand that.
Because as I do train as much as I can, I still have to work full time.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't work until the afternoon anyway. I stay up.
Stay up all hours anyway.
Yeah, so I'm not really focused on it. It's like I'm still young. I know I'm not one of the teens, but I'm still young. And I'm full of energy, so it's like no matter what time of the day it is, if I'm not hyped enough to run the ninja course, I probably shouldn't be there.
Yeah, I can understand that. I've loved watching you grow and improve. Like I said, I saw you here this last summer working really hard on your lock-offs. You're always somebody that I see flying around and doing cool laches and flips and stuff. And to see you focus in on this is a weakness, I'm going to work on lock-offs. That was really inspiring to me because that's one of my weaknesses. It's not fun to train that.
No.
But I could tell you were really focused and you wanted to, get on the show and do well, and you did. So I'm really excited to see what you do going forward with your semifinals run.
Thank you, Dan.
No problem. So this is Drew Nestor. He is going on to LA for a semifinal run, and I can't wait to see how he does. Thanks for your time today.
Yep, thank you.
Boom.